Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway's Flash, The Sorcery of Nymph Circe, is currently airing all across the world. And people are excited. The 5-year-long wait is finally over, and people are getting to ask the real question, that is, will there be or Jollibee? Now, while you are going to be walking into the theater, probably talking about fried chicken and mashed potatoes, you will instead be walking out discussing Lane Aim's brand new mobile suit, the Alyzeus. The appearance of the Alyzeus and the mass-produced new inside, while being a very exciting thing for fans, is also a bit of a controversial one. If you were to go out and say buy an Alyzeus, you're nothing more than a NHK shill that just likes Char's counterattack and really nothing else. But whenever Bandai shoves anything from the 1990s down your throat, you will happily gobble it up like some pig eating his Char's counterattack slop. Here's mine. Yeah, I made a bit of an oopsie. But it's not all doom and gloom. You see, we can maybe use this opportunity to answer a very important question. If you have just watched the Hathaway film, you're likely now experiencing what is called post-movie buy syndrome. All Hathaway suits are going to look much more appealing to you, and you will be wanting to spend your hard-earned money on these suits, which are just kind of going to fade out of your memory in the next few years. Until the third movie comes out when you're 72. So today, we should actually be answering the real question. Is the Alyzeus worth your money? Before we go any further into the video, there is one thing that I should be bringing up, and that is the pronunciation of the Alyzeus or the Alyzeus, or as I call it, the Alyzeus. I'm used to calling it the Alyzeus because that is what it is written as in katakana. So if you end up hearing that slip come out during the video, that's why. So apologies for that beforehand. Now, this is where we begin to dive into this video and talk a little bit about whether or not this thing is worth your purchase, except for the fact that you have probably already seen the title of this video. Yes, my opinion of the Alyzeus isn't particularly high. I have a lot of complaints about this kit, especially after I not only built this kit, but fully painted it as well. There are some problems with it, and I will get to those very, very soon. But I think it is only fair that we talk about the good parts as well. And to start off with that, I would like to talk about the build. If someone were to ask me what building this kit feels like, I would say it actually doesn't feel like building a Gunpla. What it actually feels like is building a Bionicle. The Hathaway kits have always been sort of big part fits into big part very simply, but this kit really just takes it the extra mile and has parts that literally look like Lego Technic parts. That being said, it doesn't mean this thing is simple. It actually is probably one of the more complicated Hathaway kits that I have built. You build 14 turbines. The thing is covered from head to toe in Dyson vacuum cleaners. Now, you could argue that that makes the build very repetitive and boring. Anyone who has built fin funnels knows the experience of building the same thing over and over and over again. But honestly, it isn't too bad in my opinion. It certainly breaks up the monotony of the standard high-grade experience of building your legs, building your chest, putting your V-fin onto your head. And it's not like you're not getting that with this kit. The mass-produced new Gundam inside is a very traditional high-grade build, a little bit more updated from the older HGUC new Gundam, but still a fairly solid kit, if a little bit simple if I were going to complain about anything. And when all is said and done, mind you, The thing looks great. Straight built, this thing looks fantastic. It is geometry upon geometry, and it just almost makes you forget that the color separation isn't very good. And mind you, there are a lot of parts that aren't properly color separated even if you were to use the stickers. The feet of the Alyzeus are completely white. The chest is incorrectly color separated. If you look at the chest of the Alyzeus, where it has the sort of Penelope cockpit that ends with the mono eye, this piece right here in the front, the tip, that's in white. If you were to look at the actual box art or any line art of the Alyzeus, you will realize that that part is in gray and the midsection of the chest is in white. Now I sound like a nitpicky little rat over here, but at the same time, why? Why is this printed in white? Now, regarding the new Gundam inside, yes, there's a lot of stickering to be done. The chest is missing details, the feet are missing details, the backpack is also missing details, and the gun is a solid brick of white. Color separation aside, this thing is very impressive. You're not going to be playing around with this, but on the shelf it looks very impressive, and on the shelf it is going to stay. For the most part, the only thing that you might be wanting to do with this kit is to add a little bit of colors via paint. You know, the stuff that isn't covered in the sticker sheet. Or you could go one step further and just repaint the whole thing. Oh boy. I'm just gonna say it. Painting this kit is kind of miserable. There is a lot to do on this kit. Seam line removal, gap filling, masking, and then on top of that, there are more issues when you get all of that said and done. Let's start with the seam lines. There is a lot of them. Every single turbine that is on this kit has a seam line running through it. And yes, you need to probably fill most of them. By the time you have finished sanding your turbines, you have probably sanded your fingers to a baby bottom consistency. And that's before you get the stuff dirty with epoxy. Filling is just as miserable. The new Gundam's feet, oh my god, the new Gundam's feet, they're hollow. And so, in this case, you would then have to look at how to fill said feet. And the truth of the matter is, well, you could put epoxy in, but even then you're still missing detail. The sole of the feet has a lot of ridges that are just not there, so you're probably gonna have to get the claw plate out. Or you just buy a high-grade new Gundam and use the feet from that instead. There are other parts to be filled as well. The stabilizers in the back have a gap that is indeed visible, but in comparison, that's a fairly easy fix. The other problem that I actually had with this kit when I was building it was the head. The head actually sits quite low in the Alyzeus' form, to the point that you actually can't see the eyes of the mass-produced new Gundam inside. Now, what I ended up doing is putting a spacer in the neck so that the head sits a little bit higher, which makes the new Gundam form look a little bit jankier, but I think it's overall a fair price to pay for being able to actually see the face of the new Gundam in the Alyzeus form. And with your modifications done, you're going to be off to painting. But before you get to painting, we're going to have to talk about masking. When I looked at the actual instruction manual, I realized how many parts I needed to mask to get the original finish of the film version. So I did the manly thing and cheated. I used an original color scheme both for the Alyzeus as well as the new Gundam inside, so that I could just sort of minimize the need for very specific color separation. On top of that, I blasted the whole thing with an enamel wash, hoping that that would just fill in the details that were missing, as well as give a weathered look so that it could draw eyes away from the fact that I didn't mask the chest off properly. And that brings us to one other point of mine, which is that this kit has clearance issues. I had a lot of paint chipping happen. When I started to reassemble this kit, I got multiple instances of paint chipping occur around the intakes, and then when I put the new Gundam into the Alyzeus armor, I kind of came to a realization that I probably would never be able to display the MP new inside ever again, because it's probably now chipped to heaven and back. That's a little bit sad. Building this kit was fun and it looks great, but the color separation makes it so that you want that little bit more extra detail on it. But if you were to just put all that extra detail on, you start running into problems, ironically. And that's hard. You've got to remember at this point that the Alyzeus costs on list price 13,000 yen. Now, I have written down here a few things that you can buy for 13,000 yen, just to give you a bit of perspective. The Alyzeus roughly equates in price to 2 Penelopes. 2 Penelopes is a little bit more, but again, I would like to remind you that they are still roughly the same size as the Alyzeus and roughly the same proportions. So maybe that would be the play. But if you're not a lane aim enjoyer, then in that case maybe you would opt for something else from Hathaway, like Gustav Karls. Well, the Alyzeus would also give you 4 Gustav Karls for the same price. If you're an army builder, maybe that's the angle you go. I hear the Gustav Karl is a well-received kit. Or, my personal favorite, if you were to not buy the Alyzeus, you can buy for yourself 13 Chickenjoy combos from Jollibee. And you tell me which one you want. But hopefully that does answer a few questions about this new kit from Bandai. If you got any more, I'll do what I can to help answer them if you were to just shoot me a message in the comments below. But with that, I hope that this video has found you well. Thanks for watching.